Hi there, it's John Munter, Northern Minnesota. Welcome to my farm, and we're talking about the Gospel of Thomas, Nag Hammadi Library by James Robinson. This is my car here. Nice car, huh? Appearances are deceiving. Actually, it's a 1990 Buick LeSabre. One guy had it for 26 years and kept it in his garage, and it shows. I probably shouldn't be telling you that as a great ecologist, I don't have a Prius, but what we need is really corporate solutions, individuals seeking corporate solutions and not individual heroes now. But talking about the Gospel of Thomas and the recap, the first 14 sayings are talking about going within to the breast of the Holy Spirit, experiencing that sense of divine love and the ecstasy and the freedom that comes with it. The next 14 talk about going about your mission in life with a sense of renunciation. There's no person or practice or that type of thing. But it's the light itself shining through you and shining through into everybody else as well. The next 20 sayings talk about how there's not really a lot down here on planet Earth that we need. That institutional religion really has very little to offer us, and not be concerned about what we have or what we don't have, and following other people and having our hands tied with busy work. This really leads up into the sense of the higher self in number 50, where we experience the light, the unoriginate light from which we came, and that shines through us. And that should be in the back of our focus all the time. Before saying 50, we're really using a lot of Hebraic images. Post 50 saying, we're using a lot of Christian imagery. And so the light isn't in the past in predicting the coming of Jesus. It's not in the future waiting for him to come. It's right now. And the suffering in this life that we experience is really to our own benefit if we use it that way, to expand the light. And we're talking about false images of Jesus in number 60, about institutionalized religion using and abusing Christians, and so we have to go within and let that be our guide. And number 61 talks about the conversion of Salome, who was a rich Herodian. And the normal question from this is, well, Jesus said, I am he who exists from the undivided. I was given some of the things of my Father. Well, what are these things and what's the criteria? And disciples are confused because it's a little bit different to convert a rich Herodian. And so Jesus says in 62, it is to those who are worthy of my mysteries that I tell my mysteries. Do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. The left hand represents material Christians, fundamentalist Christians. The right hand represents Gnostic Christians, the one who have the Spirit and the light. And to those, Jesus gives more of his mysteries to. And even rich Herodians can be worthy of that. So then the next saying here, I mean, what's wrong with having a little money, and what's wrong with being rich? And Jesus said, there was a rich man who had much money. He said, I shall put my money to use, that I may sow and reap and plant and fill my storehouse with produce. The result, that I shall lack nothing. Such were his intentions. But that same night he died. Let him who has ears to hear, let him hear. And of course, this is in the context of the wealthy Herodians who inherited the Roman Christian community from the Apostle Paul, his relatives and his friends. And so spiritually it talks about how once you think materially, then you die. So there's a spiritual intent there as well. but then, well, you converted Salome, right? So witches aren't inherently bad, right? So what's the problem with them? It would be a normal question. So number 64, Jesus said, a man had received visitors, and when he had prepared the dinner, he sent his servant to invite his guests. He went to the first one and said to them, my master invites you. He said, I have claims against some merchants. They are coming to this evening. I must go and give them my orders. I asked to be excused from the dinner. He went to another and said to him, my master has invited you. He said to him, I have just bought a house and am required for the day. I shall not have any spare time. He went to another and said to him, my master invites you. He said to him, my friend is going to get married, and I am to prepare the banquet. I shall not be able to come. I asked to be excused from the dinner. He went to another and said, my master invites you. He said to him, I have just bought a farm. Now I'm on my way to collect the rent. I shall not be able to come. I asked to be excused. The servant returned and said to his master, those who you invited to the dinner have asked to be excused. The master said to his servant, go outside the streets and bring back those whom you happen to meet, so that they may dine. Businessmen and merchants will not enter the places of my Father. So this is a famous parable that's in the scriptures and the Roman Gospels. The one addition here is businessmen and merchants will not enter the places of my fathers. So that's really a cut to the slight against the Roman church, the Herodians. But we can know that just the pure fact of materiality, of wealth, absorbs our attention and divides our attention. And so it's really difficult to ride two horses or ride two horses at a single time, as we knew from the saying about the right after talking about Gospel of John the Baptist, just before 50. So then a normal question from this would be, but still, I mean, isn't wealth useful and helpful to a certain extent there? And is this an absolute rule? So we'll have to come to that next time. But thanks for joining us. This is John Munter with www.themirroredbridalchamber.com. My website is, that's my website, and my book is The Integral Gospel of Thomas Made Easy. Thanks for joining.